You're listening to Alternative Investor Mastermind, where we do a deep dive on alternative investment opportunities and the lifestyle it can create. Join Jack Krupey as he presents actionable tips and tricks in doing passive real estate away from mainstream strategies. Go beyond the usual fix and flips and try less explored yet rewarding investing ventures, from multifamily properties, mobile homes to cryptocurrencies. Do not miss this opportunity to escape traditional assets and finally create wealth without Wall Street. Now your host, Jack.
No discussions in the podcast are meant as an offer to sell or a solicitation for an offer to buy any security. All investments should be done after careful review and consideration of the investment documents and disclosures. Contents discussed in the podcast are not meant to be construed as an investment, tax, or legal advice. Individuals should always consult his or her own professional advisors before any investment decision.
All right, welcome to our Halloween-themed episode of the Alternative Investor Mastermind. This one, we're gonna have some fun here. This may get a little campy, and you should check it out if you're listening. I think we may have some special effects on the YouTube version, so you may want to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So, we have a Halloween theme here, and
this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, let's get into it here.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, I want to start this Halloween episode with some of your horror stories from when you were running your own rental properties.
Oh, it was a wild time. There was definitely, I think, more tricks and less treats, at least from what I can remember. Probably, the worst horror story I can think of is tenants that had just went fishing and left fish in the refrigerator and freezer and moved out. The electric got turned off, and by the time we'd gotten into clean out the place, there was a number of rotten fish in the refrigerator. And the maintenance guys first, one of the things you do when you're walking through an apartment is, if the electric's not on, generally you don't open the fridge, but they had to clean it out and make it ready for the next tenant. So the moment they opened the door to the freezer, it stunk the whole apartment up of rotting fish. And it was so bad they basically had to remove the refrigerator from the second floor apartment. This was a 2-family house, so only other problem was the stairwell was too narrow to remove the refrigerator with the doors on, so they had to take the doors off. And I was outside at this point because I didn't want to test my stomach, and there's 2 maintenance guys carrying down the refrigerator, and neither of them could hold in their lunch. The maintenance guy at the top actually threw up on the maintenance guy that was holding the refrigerator below. And we're watching this, and I had to walk away because of the vomino effect, or the school bus effect, depending on what you call it. And that was brutal. That was one of the turning points for me to say there's a better way to invest in real estate than to be dealing with this type of issue.
That's horrible. I can't even. Was this in the summer?
Yeah.
The fish got hot and terrible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was. It was bad. Another one, and this was, I'd owned a management company at one point, so this wasn't a building I actually owned, but we unfortunately had a tenant pass away in one of the units we were managing, and nobody knew for over a week. And we actually thought it was a gas leak just because the stench. So, thought it was a gas leak, and that's when it was found that this tenant had unfortunately passed away, and, had been decomposing. And I think, I didn't see this specifically, but apparently there was already maggots and bugs were starting to infest.
Jeez.
So it was brutal.
You must have been in there a while.
Yeah, it was over a week, unfortunately. And we actually had to find a crime scene cleanup crew. It was owned by a couple ex-police officers, because this was just not where you don't call Service Pro, you don't call a standard
carpet cleaner.
Mary Maids. Yeah, Mary Maids is not coming in to handle that. So actually I had to call a specialty group that was owned by a couple ex-police officers that called, I think they were called Tragic Solutions. Shout out if they're still in business. And they came and they had to sanitize and clean the entire area out. It was really terrible.
So I take it when you invest in real estate, you prefer to not deal with dead bodies and fish.
Exactly, yeah. 2 of my, least favorite things, I'd say, in real estate investing.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had stories like that. I'm sure Riz over here filming has heard we had a few of those in Medellin when we were doing short-term rental properties.
Oh boy.
Some things you have to clean up, but you know what they say. It's sometimes you have to put the work in to make the extra buck, unless you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So that's moments like that are what made you switch to sometimes scary, but less horrific for you to have to go through and deal with on some of the horror stories that we get here in the syndication world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at least when you're at size and scale, at least you might hear about them via email rather than be the one who actually has to
be the one wearing the nose plugs.
Exactly. And fortunately, I haven't seen it. Hasn't been as dark as those. But sometimes it involves some bad driving. What was that recent one with?
Geez, we got an investor update that one of the tenants. I don't know if they were under the influence or what, but drove into one of the buildings. So safe to say that took out one of the apartments for a significant amount of time while they fixed that up.
Gotcha. And what about the ghost tenants?
So there are two kinds of horrorsome tenants. There's ghost tenants and there's zombie tenants. First one of the ghost tenants, when I remember we were working with a group that the property was 90% occupied, everything looked good. You start knocking on doors, and all of a sudden you find the ghost tenants who moved out months ago, and they're just forging the numbers, making everything look a little bit nicer. And all of a sudden you find out that these people had moved out, and they're really ghosts in the system, making lender numbers look better, or whatever it might be. Now, zombie tenants on the other side. I heard one about this from this group out of Texas. They were acquiring a multifamily in an opportunity zone out of Texas, and the seller was out of state working with a local property management group, and he said, I'm selling, just can't deal with the headaches anymore, 67% occupancy. Okay, fine. And he goes in, starts knocking on the doors, and finds that there are actually people living there. Occupancy was closer to 95, 99%, and the property manager had just been pocketing the extra money, having people paying cash.
Well, the property manager had his hand in the cookie bowl, if you will, or in the Halloween treats, unfortunately.
No, that's one of those that, unless you have the boots on the ground, you're checking normally. You have people who are going and making sure the property is functioning as is. It can turn into a real nightmare, and that's a very common thing for out-of-state investors. So you really have to have trusted boots on the ground, who you trust to go through and walk your haunted house from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put this under the trick area. One of the things we've learned is there's Reddits and there's TikToks that are teaching tenants how to try to get into an apartment fraudulently by faking pay stubs, faking tax returns to forge the income to get in. So that's unfortunately a trick that's been more prevalent over the last couple of years. And to respond to that, now there's various AI tools and verification tools now that investors and landlords have that can catch these fraudulent pay stubs and verify that the income being provided is actually real, and just something that at one point technology tried to streamline it, where instead of having to call actual references or call employment, it could be done electronically. But now between use of AI and just some old school tactics now, unfortunately, you really need to independently verify that you're not being scammed by a tenant that really doesn't make any money and is just looking to get in and live for free for a couple months.
Sure. No, again, the changing technology always comes with, I wish I had a really good Halloween pun for pros and cons, but just imagine you're going through and one of the big value adds that you see in real estate and business acquisitions is often the implementation of technology, which at sometimes can be a fault, right? That can be, it happens with taxes, it happens with tenant screening, it happens with, all levels of property management where the technology fails. It goes down, and all of a sudden you might go 3 days without being able to see the finances at the wrong time of year. These are things that, everyone on the property management side has had to deal with at some point. The other one that I always think of quite often is, again, if you're not working at any kind of scale, the nightmare that maintenance and repair can be. If you have to go through and call every contractor in the phone book to see if someone can come out and fix your leaky roof, your exploding toilet, whatever the issue might be. It's just constant.
Yeah, or mischief night. If a group of kids come and toilet paper your complex, you need somebody just to clean it up.
see, these are things that I'm really happy to not be dealing with on an active basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one last treat is tax savings. With Halloween, it means there's 2 months left in the year to treat yourself to potentially lowering your tax bill. If you have a significant amount of passive income and you invest into real estate and take accelerated depreciation, you can take a large paper tax loss, which can put a lot of money back in your pocket and less money to the IRS, and that's a treat that I think everyone likes.
At any time of year, not just for Halloween.
Yeah, it's actually the healthy treat too, because you can spend that money on your health. It's more fun than just getting the apple instead of the candy bar. Thanks again for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, the JCAM Investments channel. Also, like and subscribe to the Alternative Investor Mastermind on your podcast platform of choice, iTunes, Spotify, and many others. And connect with us on all major social media, both my personal profile as well as JCAM Investments on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next episode.
That's all for this episode of Alternative Investor Mastermind. Now that you know the many alternative opportunities out there all up for the taking, you can finally become ultra connected and ultra wealthy. Get more valuable advice from the experts by subscribing to the show at alternativeinvestormastermind.com. Become a winner in the world of passive investing today in alternative investment strategies. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.